Howdy folks, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. We're turning into more than just a reaction to music channel. It's been that way for a while, but I'm starting a 5-part series courtesy of funRonni. Ronnie, shout out to you. Thank you for these 5 gifts that she made. The next 5 today and 4 days after this one, I'll be doing a reaction to basically a history of Loretta Lynn. Her personal life, her musical career, whatever's in it. I haven't seen this, but Ronnie wanted me to do this one. So this is part 1 of the history of Loretta Lynn, who is, an argument can be made she's the queen of country music. Enormously respected, loved. So if you're new to country music, or maybe you're in the Nashville country, but you want something with more meat, in some ways more personality, you could do far worse than starting with Loretta. So let's see what we've got here. Inside Country Music Television's Inside Fame, Loretta Lynn, Part 1.
And come back as a woman, I'd want to come back as Loretta Lynn. What great songs that she's written.
With her simple, poetic voice of the people, she brought a fresh honesty to her music.
Loretta just is a fiery, feisty little thing that writes really genius country songs.
She transformed the role of token girl singer into a powerful voice for women.
Since I've got the pill.
In a time where women had no voice, she would speak up.
She had the guts to talk about things that were kind of taboo at the time.
But the years in between were a constant fight for everything she believed in. She stood her ground in a tempestuous, often abusive marriage.
It was one of those very, very volatile relationships where she would give as good as she got.
Dude never smacked me one time, but he didn't get 2 smacks back.
She agonized over the balance between family and career.
She said, "This is not my house. I don't live here. I'm a stranger in my own home."
If I'd known what was going to happen, I wouldn't have started singing.
But she gave it up to spend a few precious moments with her friend and partner before he quietly slipped away.
Finally, I looked down at him and said, "Honey, you just go around the corner, and I'll be okay."
The remarkable life and celebrated career of Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter, on CMT Inside Fame.
What an intro.
This year, the Country Music Hall of Fame honors one of the most admired women of our time. She was born a coal miner's daughter, but she has become a country music legend, Miss Loretta Lynn.
Loretta Lynn's 1988 induction into the Hall of Fame was but one of many honors that have been bestowed upon her. But her extraordinary life and strength in the face of adversity are as important to her legend as her award-winning music and career.
She's a strong woman, had a lot of heartache, but then there's still so much sparkle and love in her heart for her fans.
Unashamedly Kentucky, unabashedly country, unapologetically feminist, and a great honky-tonk singer.
Loretta Lynn has achieved more than simple stardom. She has transcended into icon status, known by millions around the world as a woman who speaks with simple dignity and honesty in both her career and in her life.
She's just the coal miner's daughter, but she's like so real that she opens that mouth to talk. You know exactly what's on her mind, and you know that it's coming from a real place, and you can trust it.
You never know what she's going to say. Whatever comes to mind comes out, and I love that about her.
I can tell you, my girlfriend is from Western Kentucky, and maybe you've heard me say this just a couple of times, but I told my girlfriend, Sean is her name, girls in the South, they've got guys' names too. It's one of those things. And but Sean, when something comes out of her, you just know that's what she's thinking. And just beautiful, earthy, heartfelt, no bullshit. And so I told her, I said, when I see things about Loretta, I'm getting more insight into you, honey.
Loretta Webb was born on April 14, 1935, in a depressed region of Johnson County, Kentucky, known as Butcher Holler. She was the second of 8 children born to Ted Webb, a coal miner, and his wife Clara. The abject poverty of her eastern Kentucky childhood would become the cornerstone of both her art and her famous openness and approachability.
You know, back then, for people to live in a one-room house, we didn't really know how poor we was.
Yeah.
You really don't know it till you go to bed hungry. And, you know, then you don't have something to eat.
We're talking, you know, no running water, no electricity, no toilet, you know, the whole mountain poverty works.
I think one of the things
well put.
Loretta's having grown up so poor did for her, she simply didn't understand a lack of possibilities, because growing up in Butcher Holler, she wasn't sure what possibility meant even.
Even though Loretta may not have known what possibility meant, at age 13 she encountered a major possibility in the person of Oliver Loretta Lynn, known to the residents of Butcher Holler as Mooney or Doolittle. He had just returned from a stint in the Army and showed up at a bakery auction that was intended to raise money for the school Loretta attended.
That night he bought my pie, and whoever bought your pie, they had to walk you home, you know. So Doo wanted me to get in that Jeep. I looked at that Jeep and, God, I wouldn't have crawled in that thing for nothing. It looked like it was something from outer space, you know. And he said, why won't you ride? I said, I'm not getting in that thing. So we went out of the holler carrying pine torches.
The schoolgirl was immediately taken with the brash young man and the twinkle in his eye. But Doolittle Lynn had a reputation for drinking and womanizing, and Loretta's parents made their feelings clear.
But I just figured Mommy and Daddy would kill me. There wasn't much said about it, except you're never to see that boy again. He's too old and he's too wild.
4 months later, in January 1949, Loretta went completely against her parents' wishes and married Doolittle Lynn. He was 21, she was 13.
Oh,
Loretta had
shit.
no idea what was in store.
She was a child. He was more than a husband. He raised her.
My mother, you know, she knew Mooney, and she knew Mooney probably more than Loretta did when she married Mooney. She didn't sign the papers. She didn't go to the wedding. She didn't want her daughter marrying young.
I didn't even know what marrying was. I found out.
Loretta's marriage did not get off to a fairy tale start. Unlike her dear father, Doolittle Lynn was not a gentle, understanding man.
My daddy never did accept Doo very well. And the first two things that he promised Daddy was, don't ever lay a hand on me, and don't ever take me away where he couldn't see me.
Both promises to Loretta's father were soon broken. The first was broken within 24 hours of the wedding. When playing a game she often played with her siblings, Loretta made an innocent rhyme using the word whore. She'd heard the word used by the older schoolboys, but had no idea what it meant.
He left the door open. So I said, shut the door, you little... just rhyming a line. I didn't know what that meant. So he come back and just put me over his lap, and he busted my butt. Now that's the next day. He already messed up with Daddy right there.
I think most young girls, for better or worse, believe men are like their fathers. If they come from a gentle father like a Ted Webb, they assume that all men are going to be that way. And it was a great shock.
Within 5 months, Doolittle had taken up with another woman. He sent the 14-year-old Loretta home to her parents. She was confused and humiliated, and she was 4 months pregnant. But before the baby was born, a repentant Doolittle returned for Loretta.
Daddy really got tore up about it. They didn't know I was going to go back to him.
Loretta's father was in for another blow as Doolittle Lynn broke his second promise. Soon after Loretta returned to him, Doolittle and Loretta's brother, Jay Lee, hitchhiked to Washington, where they found work as farmhands. Weeks later, Loretta, now 7 months pregnant, followed Doolittle across the country to the Pacific Northwest.
I think Loretta hoped that when they got to Washington, they would have a marriage like her parents maybe, or a normal marriage. And then when she realized very quickly that Doo wasn't always going to be home, she fell back into what must have been a very innate, natural survival.
Loretta was 14 when her first child was born. By the time she was 18, she had 4 children: Betty Sue, Jack Benny, Ernest Ray, and Clara Marie, nicknamed Sissy. But Doolittle's drinking and philandering didn't stop. He would frequently leave for days, even weeks at a time, leaving a destitute Loretta to fend alone for herself and her children.
We ate dandelions, me and the kids, for almost 2 weeks. It was day to day that I just think, well, he'll come in tomorrow. He'll be home tomorrow.
There to help.
She was able to shoot game for the kids to eat, pick greens for the kids to eat, and basically make it on her own from time to time when he did leave town.
There's been 3 or 4 times I would have left him because I had a reason to. But how can you go 3,000 miles with 4 kids and no money?
One of them is toddling and one is a crawling and 2's on the way.
Coming up on CMT Inside Fame, Loretta's dreams come true.
Bonnie, my sister-in-law, come on the phone, and she said, "Loretta, are you sitting down?" And I said, "Yeah."
And later, Loretta deals with an unfaithful husband in her own special way.
That's the way that I got him back. Was write about it and sang to him. There.
Yep.
How you like that? You know.
When CMT Inside Fame continues.
Wow. All right. We're getting more of the details. I don't know how much some of you folks knew a lot of these details, but I didn't know she had 4 kids by the time she was 18. But I did know that she got back at him in her songs. Like any of the songs that I'd reacted to that touched on her marriage or some other thing, she was straight shooting it. And I got the sense in a couple of the songs that she was speaking to him to try to get him to change his ways. But, you know, in a song, maybe he'll listen to it better than he would talking to her in person. But you're 21, she's 13. And then you marry a 13-year-old. I don't know. They're not ready. You're not ready at age 21. I mean, some parts of the country you do get married earlier. I get that, and I don't judge that. But it's, I mean, there are advantages to it because you have more energy when you're younger, so you're going to be working hard. If you're not planning on going to school, but you're planning on working, then all right, you can have kids younger, and then, you know, when you're 40, you might be done with kids and all that. So, you know, whatever. But the heartache that you'd experience and that Loretta could sing with sort of like an uplifting manner about her is fascinating. I imagine we'll get some more insight into it, or I'll pick up on nuances that might give me some more insight into how she was able to sing with sort of like, I don't want to say a positive attitude, but way more, you wouldn't even necessarily know the songs were about her life. When she would sing some of these songs, you might think, oh, it's another songwriter wrote them, but they're songs that she wrote about her husband, and she's airing out the dirty laundry, and yet you wouldn't necessarily know it. Now, there are other songs that a lot of songs that I'll react to, and I wonder if the singer wrote it or not. And sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I think they wrote that. They really made it their own. And then I'd find out from one of you guys that, oh, no, that somebody else wrote that. But this was the opposite in some ways, where it'd be like, no, there's no way she would go public with stuff about her own personal life like this. You know, this is just a very ballsy, brave, if you will, or ballsy song from an entertainer. And then you find out, no, this is Kentucky real. So that'd be a good t-shirt. So anyway, guys, that's part 1, courtesy of funRonni. So Ronnie, thank you for this education. I love learning. I do. And I've read a lot of memoirs and autobiographies in my life. You know, Jules, for example, and they are just absolutely fascinating. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Part 2 coming up tomorrow. Have a great day. See you on another video and keep rocking the country.